The sailors swarmed the railings on the edge of the ship, a sturdy and well-used fishing vessel. The almost unheard barking orders from the captain rang out, calling for everyone to man the nets and bring in the haul. And never had they ever seen a potential haul quite like this. Nor had any seen the series of small islands where they ought not to be. But school upon school of fish were everywhere, and seabirds aplenty flew overhead or perched upon the odd-looking mounds peeking out of the water, much further from the shore than would normally be wise for the avian fishers. All darting between and over the islands, a venerable university of them, some joked, before moving to their posts, unthinking of the strangeness of the situation. Most worked hard and happily, dreaming of the cut and bonuses they would receive for bringing such a haul home. But there was a tension among the older sailors, those who remembered the whispers of the tales told by their grandfathers, and their grandfathers before them. And they dared not whisper the name of legend. The captain signaled for the other ships in their fleet to join in the catch. One by one, the ship's massive nets were filled and hauled in, and the buzz of bounty filled the air. That is, until one of the older sailors, keeping watch from the corner of his eye, caught the plunge of a tiny island, dipping beneath the water's surface and out of view. Panic filled his body and soul. He hobbled quickly to the captain, trying to maintain what little composure he could muster. Hands shaking, he tugged the captain's coat and pleaded him to finish up and turn back for proper land. The captain eyed the older man with a cocked eyebrow, as if he expected to next be asked to toss the hull back into the sea for greater retreating speed, like a naval battle for the ages, which the old man may well have demanded, were it not for the cutting cry that rang out from the bow of the ship. Kraken! The old sailor somehow beat the captain to the ship's railing. Maybe it was his aged and experienced sea legs, but more likely, it was his desperately motivating fear. Each island shrunk into the sea, one by one, forming growing individual whirlpools, with a suction like none had ever seen. Too late, the old sailor thought, as the captain barked new orders. Everyone was paralyzed with shock, as a shadow blanketed the deck of the ship. Away from the whirlpools, where the island submerged, something rose from the dark deep, dripping and grasping.
Hey there, creatures, and welcome to Encounter This, a podcast exploration of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons and the lore that surrounds them.
Hello there, creatures, and welcome to another episode of Encounter This. My name is James, a tentacular kid, and with me, as always, is Freeman, drunken sailor Eyston. And today, we are going a little nautical. Well, probably a lot nautical, as we explore the depths, the briny deeps, the Kraken from the Monster Manual on page 196 to 197.
Oh, we are going so very nautical. Some of it actually is probably even going to be a little bit dull, oddly enough. Yeah?
I imagine there is just an insane amount of everything about this creature.
There was and a lot of it was just boring. But especially in the real world cultural lore, specifically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of it was just talking in circles. So, I mean, we'll get to it, obviously. But I still like this creature. I think it's gonna be kind of fun. A Kraken, the Kraken. Now it's not labeled the Kraken like we did the Tarask because there is more than one, or there is believed to be more than one. I think the Tarask is the only one where there's only one in the world when it comes to the D&D lore.
I think the Elder Elementals are also only one.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fair.
So,
but that's in the same way as, like, there's only one of this god, the god of Tyr, right?
Yeah.
You know, because they're not, maybe not gods, quote, air quotes, but they are the closest thing to.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they exist on the material plane for the most part,
Right.
I believe. It's been a long time since I've
Yeah.
read those entries.
But the Kraken does not quite fit into that scenario. It does, however, fit into the Titan category, which is akin to the Tarask and Empyreans, which we've covered before.
We have, yeah.
We're going to start with a quote, because that's always fun when we have a nice quote. And it reads, "A kraken dreams of casting its tentacles into the heavens and strangling that which birthed it. And when its dreams exceed its reach, it settles for the occasional passing ship." This is an excerpt from Knight of the Kraken Cult by Melchior Sarang of Tithir.
Okay.
So, let's elaborate on this. Ages ago, so as ages go by, the Kraken slumbers and waits. Seafaring land dwellers forget why their ancestors even feared the sea, and underwater civilizations ignore gaps in their own histories in which they were nearly wiped out. All thanks to the tentacled horror known as the Kraken. So in the beginning of time and everything, Krakens were fierce warriors to the gods. They were warriors to the gods. And when the wars of the gods ended, the Krakens freed themselves from servitude and were never again bound by any other beings.
Okay.
And this is
That
why...
is pretty intense
Yes.
right off the bat.
And this is why, in that quote, they reach to the heavens to strangle that which birthed it, because they have this sort of sense of evil vengeance against those who once enslaved them. So when the Kraken stirs, nations tremble. Storms arise both above and beneath the ocean from a Kraken's sheer primeval force of will. Its power can halt trade and communication across the high seas, and it can destroy the greatest achievements of civilizations like they were sculptures in the sand. It's all very poetic.
It is very poetic.
I love it. Before it strikes, the waters around its target will turn an inky, poisonous black, and whole galleons and warships will vanish when its tentacles emerge from below, snapping masts like twigs and dragging ship and crew down. And even landlocked civilizations are not safe, because the Kraken breathes air just fine and will sometimes travel up river and nest within the fresh water of a great lake, destroying cities and villages along the way as it sees fit. And as you can imagine, Krakens are virtual gods, with worshippers and cultists all of their own. Or some serve even Ol Hydra, the evil goddess of elemental water. So it's pretty fitting that you brought that up.
Yeah, I was actually thinking Leviathan.
Right.
That's cool too.
Yeah, maybe a step above even now. And the Krakens will use Ol Hydra's own cultists to enforce their will. And if pleased by its followers, it can reward the safe travel through rough seas by calming the waters or gift plentiful catches in fishing waters. However, the Kraken's mind is ancient and beyond understanding, and is always bent toward ruin above all else.
I'm not 100% sure what that last sentence means.
I think it's, it definitely reads and sounds problematic, like we've covered before many a time now, but there's this element of the Kraken that I feel like I find that they were born and birthed and served as destructive warriors, and for that sole reason. But they have a sense of independence that caused them to be free, and now they have this innate, part of their creation that leads them towards wanting to kill those, take revenge on those who had created and enslaved them, but they are unable to reach them. So it's sort of like, ends up becoming this byproduct of their sort of existence, their creation, that they tend to lean towards ruining anything in sight when they do arise and awake.
Okay, I see where my confusion came from.
Okay.
It appears, and feel free to cut this, in the doc, that toward is 2 words, as in to guard,
Oh yeah.
as opposed to
definitely,
a singular word
wrote that
toward,
wrong.
as in the direction of.
It's also worth noting I get all my its wrong. I always write it apostrophe s, and then I have to correct it later.
Me too, dude. 100% of the time I do. Yeah. I've started using the grammar check because I just find it so embarrassing.
Yeah, seriously. It's like I know better, but I just do it. I do it anyway.
Yeah. If it's I just throw an apostrophe in, like it's old typing habit. Yeah.
100%.
Just in case it's the right one that one time.
Yeah. Now, with all of that, that is the extent of 5e lore, which is pretty underwhelming.
That was 2 pages of lore.
Yeah, it's pretty underwhelming in its own right. That's not 2 pages of lore.
Wizards needs to hire you.
one. That's basically 1 page of lore, because the reason there are 2 pages is because they have layer actions and regional effects. So their mechanics are a bit more expanded. That, of course, means does not mean I didn't look into some of the older editions, and they do exist from 1e on, but we only have artwork from 3e, 4e, and 5e. But we have 3e, which just looks like a big old squid. Big old squid.
Yeah.
And it's.
I mean, that's pretty representative of what I imagine you're going to tell us in the cultural lore.
Yeah, it's exactly what you'd expect. I feel like we'll get into some of the details of its physique here, but it does represent what the details are pretty well. The 4e art is a little more vague. I mean, it's still a giant squid, but it's or some such, but it's attacking a ship in that artwork, and
that's a pretty small ship.
Yeah, it's a boat. It's definitely not a ship. It's a boat with a sail.
We're looking at a single mast here, listeners.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it has a helm or a deck either.
Yeah.
Like, this is just a sailboat.
It's a tiny thing. No, as far as the older editions go, it is mostly depicted as a giant squid, but of course even larger than that of the real world giant squid. The body is about 30 feet or 9.1 meters in length, but full length with tentacles is about 100 feet or 30 meters. And it weighed about 4,000 pounds or about 1,800 kilograms. The tentacles connect to a mouth at the bottom of the conical body, with 2 tentacles being barbed and longer than the others. So you can very much see that in both the 3e and 4e art.
Yep, just like a squid.
Yeah, longer and barbed. It's bang on. They're not messing around. The 5e Kraken is significantly different, however. Sorry, I should continue. The older ones, the tentacles connect at the mouth, the bottom of the conical body, right? And they have large eyes and fins that protrude from this body as well. The 5e art is like totally different. It's not squid-like, other than the fact that it has tentacles. And it does have some fins. The body is not really conical at all. Its mouth is on the opposite end, so not where the tentacles meet the body. It's basically got a head and a face, and it looks more bestial. And it's even got like chin tentacles that look like a beard. It's like totally left field. It does not match up at all.
Also, the size disparity here is absolutely incredible.
How do you mean?
Well, so if you look at the 4e art, the one where it's attacking the boat.
Yeah.
That boat, I would imagine, given the size of the people in the boat, is about the size of those 2 sharks floating down by the Kraken's mouth in the 5e art.
Oh, I didn't even
that's
see
no
those.
more than 12 feet.
I didn't
and those look like mako sharks.
Yeah.
So they're like 6 to 8 feet. So those 2 sharks, lengthwise, is about the size of that.
I was wondering
boat.
where you were going with that. You always find small things in these pieces of art that I don't. I had no idea those sharks were even there. So you are so right. It is tremendously more massive from the 5e art. Like, holy shit.
like epics of magnitude.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is crazy how much bigger this 5e art is presented.
It's so
Unless those are like miniature sharks, but in which case, still, this is huge.
Yeah.
Like the smallest species of shark is like 4 feet,
Mhm.
and those are I don't know, they look like black fins or blue sharks, or maybe makos, but they average around 6 feet long, and
that's like
this thing's much bigger than 6 feet.
much bigger. I mean, just the width of its mouth is going to be like 3 to 4 times that size. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
just
probably
its mouth.
about 18 feet across.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Regardless, I mean, yeah, you're right. The size and severity is massive. But also, damn, it's so different. It even doesn't even make sense the way they've redone it. I don't think, because I don't know, like the squid, like it's the way it attacks. The tentacles are designed to like grab things and pull them into the mouth, right? But the 5e art, it's like if those tentacles are grabbing something, that has to arch over to deliver to the mouth on the opposite end. And it just, I don't understand the thought process on this change.
Yes,
wildly
so
different.
it looks like the best way to describe this is it's got the like upper torso of a turtle with the mouth of a shark.
Yeah.
But it's got the body of a fish, but the tail of the fish after the final fin
Yeah.
turns into some variety of, I want to say octopus, but it looks like it's actually more than 10 tentacles or 8 tentacles,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to count them.
Yeah.
So they would be specifically for propulsion only, and that's just crazy.
Certainly
And it's got
looks
this
like
little chin beard, like Freeman mentioned, that's probably just used
Yeah.
to draw predators in.
Yeah. It just doesn't.
And it's got almost hands. Like it
Yeah.
looks like it has opposable thumbs
They even
on
got,
top
like,
of opposable thumbs.
Little claws or nails on the ends of them. It just it doesn't.
Yeah.
It is
There's
so
a carapace
different.
with some spikes.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's cool looking. It's just wildly impractical.
Right. Like, why is it the
Which
Kraken?
I guess
even?
is the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a nice piece of art, but it just, it doesn't add up. But in any case, as far as the other editions go, their bodies were seldom seen as they kept below the water and attacked with their tentacles. They could shoot jet of blank ink. They could shoot a jet of black ink, regenerate severed limbs, and even cast spells. And previous editions also had them able to speak. And they were actively hunted within the Saros region, which was an undersea realm. Marrow and storm giants hunted them in this realm to keep their population low.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, they had to keep them in check. But otherwise, that's pretty much the meat of the D&D lore that's any amount of interesting.
So I'm actually going to defend this for the first time ever.
Oh, no.
So I really truly believe that this is a mysterious creature in both D&D pathos, in both D&D mythos and in our like human experiences with them. Like I'm sure you'll get into it, but like we didn't discover the colossal squid until like the 1920s.
Right. Yeah.
So the fact that there's just this mythology that's built around them, and there's like very little information, and what we have is from unreliable narrators, i.e. these cultists. I just think that it fits so nicely. I'm excited to get to the differences between cultural lore, but I really like what I've heard so far.
Right.
I know it's not much, but it seems good.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's
it seems
solid.
about on par.
I'm with you, because this is a type of creature that doesn't need some elaborate, mystical backstory or origin story, or some sort of alien objective. It just is this creature that sometimes arrives, and when it does, it is a force to be reckoned with. Just like the Tarrasque,
Yeah.
just
Yep.
doesn't have, there's nothing complicated about why it's there. It's just when it is, all eyes turn towards.
Yeah, and it seems like they just kind of want to be left alone. Like one of your points was societies have already forgotten about these creatures.
Right.
So it makes sense that there isn't
It's like
a lot written down.
They disappear and slumber for so long, but then when they resurface, everyone watch out. Now when it comes to cultural lore, like I said earlier, a lot of it was very dull. And honestly, there's actually not a lot of multiple cultures exploring this one. But
that makes sense because there wasn't a lot of cultures sailing to the Antarctic or South America at the time.
There are loads of sea monsters in history and folklore and myth, but they are distinct from the Kraken. So we have
I mean, spoilers, we have found the Kraken.
I mean, more or less. But other examples, there were like Scylla of Homer, or the Scylla, 6-headed, 12-legged sea monsters. Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, nemesis of Thor in Norse mythology. Leviathan, which you mentioned earlier, a giant sea serpent mentioned in several books in the Bible. Even Capricorn, which is a Babylonian water goat or sea goat that had a lot of notoriety in the sea. And Tiamat, the Mesopotamian primordial goddess of the sea, depicted as a sea serpent or dragon. And these are like really more obvious ones, but they are very distinctly different. So the list goes on, of course, with lots of varied definitions.
Sure. The sea is a terrifying place.
Really is. There's no wonder there's so many stories.
So
if we dig into etymology real quick, Kraken derives from Norwegian with krake or krake, maybe, which connects to Old Norse kraki or kraki, which together means something between malformed or crooked tree and pole or stake. Referring
to the tentacles, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. There is a reference back to Pliny, Pliny the Elder, who had referenced the arbor marina, which was a creature, arbor meaning tree, so tree-like with many, many limbs, many branches. So that's where the malformed or crooked tree sort of thing comes from as well. So it's very akin to that. There was a Icelandic philologist named Finnur Johnson. A philologist is someone who studies language in oral and written historical resources. And he remarked around 1920 that crake could also mean grapnel or anchor, which would have readily caused people to think of a cephalopod in particular.
I mean, both of those words.
Yeah,
because I mean, like a squid's head is almost shaped like an anchor, and grapnel is essentially what it's doing with the tentacles.
Exactly.
Like it's just grabbing on.
Yep.
So both of those words fit in different ways.
Totally, 100%. That being said, in all things considered, where this creature does come from is the Kraken is a legendary sea monster off the coast of Norway. So it's like, these words, of course, coming from Norwegian or Old Norse and having these connections, they all make sense. This is a Norwegian legendary sea monster. Now, the first to describe the Kraken in the modern age, at the turn of the 18th century, so the year 1700 exactly, was Francesco Negri, an Italian Catholic priest and travel writer. And he wrote a travel log while traveling through Scandinavia. And his description was that of a massive fish, which was many-horned or many-armed. And he specifically distinguished it from a sea serpent. So basically cataloging it on its own. There was also a Dano-Norwegian Lutheran missionary named Hans Egede, I'm not quite sure how to say his name. He described the Kraken in great detail and was the first to equate it to the medieval Hafgufa, which itself was a sea monster, usually depicted as a massive whale off the coast of Greenland. And if I recall correctly, actually close to Heligoland, which is Baffin Island, Canada. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Yeah, and he described it as many-headed and clawed. And during his research, he had many what have been called informants on the subject that described the creature as many miles in length. And when it surfaced, it covered the whole sea, with many heads and a number of claws, which is used to capture ships, men, fish, animals, and drag them all to the depths. Norwegian fishermen claimed that if they ever captured it in their hooks, their ships would mount it like a sandbank. and the only way to avoid destruction was to pronounce its name, sending it back to the depths. So some pretty typical superstition kind of going on there.
Yeah, I mean, being attacked at sea by a creature with multiple arms would be pretty chaotic, and it would be very difficult to get an accurate depiction of the situation.
Oh, yes. Very much so. A Danish author and Norwegian Lutheran bishop named Erik Pontoppidan. I love his name. He was the first to popularize the Kraken on a world scale, as it were. And his description suggested it was either a giant sea crab, starfish, or octopus. He was also the first to write about its power to pull down entire sailing ships. One of his claims on the Kraken was that the creature was often mistaken for a group of small islands, where fish swam between them and enticed Norwegian fishermen to fish over the Kraken for the plentiful haul, which apparently spawned the saying, "You must have fished on a Kraken," when fishermen had caught a big catch. Also,
that colloquialism that we all know.
Yeah, that one that we definitely know. That's why I said apparently spawned, because I was like, I don't know about this. Also, there was an apparent risk of drowning and being hauled down by the whirlpool it created when it submerged.
Right, the gyre.
Right. So this was, of course, compared to the famed Moskstraumen, or aka Maelstrom. So the Maelstrom is one of the largest series of tidal eddies and whirlpools in the world, which forms between the Norwegian Sea and a 155-kilometer-long fjord called Vestfjorden.
Neat.
Yeah, super neat. When I read that, I was like, man, I don't know why I didn't think of that, but something that large submerging would really pull that water down and create that whirlpool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So just coming across something big like that was dangerous. Like, the myths and stories are likely to abound in that age. Continuing forward with more people documenting this, we have Pierre Denis de Montfort, French naturalist and malacologist, which is the study of invertebrate zoology. He is the most credited for the man-killing reputation of the creature. He published about 2 separate giants in the sea. One, the colossal octopus, which was accompanied with a famous illustration of an octopus attacking a ship, and the Kraken octopod, which he deemed to be the largest organism in zoology, bar none.
He's honestly not far off.
Yeah. He also matched the colossal octopus with Pliny the Elder's tale of the giant polypus that attacked shipwrecked people. So that ties into what I was saying before about the Arbor Marina.
Right.
Many naturalists didn't believe Montfort and were quick to criticize him when he made bold, complicit claims. So, for example, in 1782, 10 warships under British control, including 6 French man-of-war ships, were lost. It started with a distress signal fire by the ship Ville de Paris before being swallowed by parting waves. All the other ships came to aid and met with the same fate. Montfort proposed that multiple giant octopuses were the only way to account for such a tragedy. And all the others basically said, well, no, it was a fucking storm. This cracked me up. I mean, laughs in my fucking notes here. I was like dying when I read it. But the whole thing was, Montfort was so convinced that the colossal octopus existed and attacked ships. He was so convinced of it that he was like, no, the only possible explanation is one of these. And they're like, well, no, storms do this. Like, what are you talking about? And he couldn't let it go. And he apparently just made claim after claim like that. He just wouldn't let it go. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. And people were like, no, dude, like, there's something more reasonable here. Now, getting into a little bit of literature, and sort of those who were influenced by all of these claims and these documentations. Victor Hugo, who is a French novelist and writer, famous for books like Les Miserables and The Hunchback of Notre Dame. He started the great man-killing octopus and influenced Jules Verne, in turn, a French novelist and writer known for Journey to the Center of the Earth, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Big fan of Verne.
Yeah, and Around the World in 80 Days. He markedly did not distinguish the creatures as octopus or squid in his writings, but he helped push forward this sort of notoriety and fame of the creature in fiction. Altogether, it is believed the Kraken was indeed the result of early sightings of the giant squid, which can grow 40 to 50 feet in length, or 13 to 15 meters long, which is
the giant squid.
The giant squid, yeah.
Okay. What about the colossal squid?
Have that? I didn't come across anything that mentions the colossal squid, to be honest.
Okay.
There is specific notes on the giant squid. There is a mention of the paleocephalopod, which is an ancient giant cephalopod resembling the legendary Kraken from the Triassic period. Which was believed to be responsible for the deaths of the ichthyosaurs.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise, yeah, I mean, just from the wiki page alone, there was not a lot of information on anything beyond the giant squid.
Okay. The colossal squid is 9 to 10 meters long and is the largest living known invertebrate, and it weighs 1,300 to 1,500 pounds, or 600 to 700 kilos. Okay.
And that's one we know still exists. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first time we discovered it was in 1925, but the first time a proper specimen was collected was 1981, and second time was 2003, because this is a deep sea predator.
Yeah.
And as it comes to the surface, it just shrinks.
Yeah. Crazy. So the giant squid is larger than the colossal squid, as it unless we're talking about the same thing here. No, we're not. The giant squid, is longer than the colossal squid in particular.
Yeah,
yeah. So the giant squid, I think, might be believed to not be around anymore, or just there's no sightings. So the colossal squid's the one that we've spotted. I remember when one was spotted in like Japan, and like was it 2003, 2004, something like that? You said.
That would have been a giant squid. Colossal squids are like Antarctic waters.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe they're still around. But, I mean, it's still gnarly to think something that large and that long is around. There's a couple of them. One's longer than the other. It gives me the shivers.
Yeah,
crazy.
They are not small.
Yeah. But in any case, yeah, I mean, obviously, considered to be early sightings of such creatures, which makes sense. And, legends and superstitions stuff prone to hyperbole. So obviously we're probably not looking at something that actually formed as multiple islands around a ship, but maybe something large enough to for a small ship to see multiple pieces of on each side of the ship and really, really stun everybody.
Yeah. For sure.
As far as iconography goes, the depictions of these vary quite a bit. You'll actually see a lot of the time different pictures on maps that were drawn, like cartographers' maps with some extra flair. And they actually include not just squids or octopus, but giant fish, lobsters, and crayfish as well. So maps and different engravings will feature these.
There's a map in my bathroom of shipwrecks off the coast of Prince Edward Island.
Yes,
it's got all that kind of stuff on it.
That's awesome. Of course, there are references for pop culture references here. It's particular in Victor Hugo's Les Travailleurs de la Mer, or Toilers of the Sea. Herman Melville's Moby Dick mentions them. Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, John Wyndham's apocalyptic sci-fi novel The Kraken Wakes, and also apparently somewhere in Marvel Comics there's a Kraken. I figured I would leave that to you though, if you know anything.
I don't offhand.
Even the link on the wiki was blank. It didn't lead anywhere.
Oh yeah.
For film, Kraken appears in the Clash of the Titans, both the 1981 and 2010 versions. Of course, through the Pirates of the Caribbean films, Dead Man's Chest, and At World's End. in video games like Sea of Thieves, God of War 2, Return to Obra Dinn, and no doubt the list goes on and on and on and on and on. But I didn't dig in because I don't know. It's a sea creature. They're going to show up everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, there's only really two types of sea creatures: the type with giant mouths and the type with long tentacles.
That's about it. But yeah, that's it. That's what I got.
All right. I mean, that's great. Like, there's a lot more literature stuff there than I expected.
Yeah, right? Certainly
Yeah.
a fuel for imagination in that time, big time. It's something like that. A lot of seafaring and whatnot in those centuries. I mean, and we all know that it certainly has influenced even things like Lovecraft, you know, if not directly for the Kraken, but like things like the Kraken, Cthulhu himself with a tentacled face.
Oh yeah.
There are some really cool pictures on of the engravings and artwork on the wiki. I recommend anyone take a look. There's boatloads of them, so I didn't amass them for this.
Yeah, fair enough.
There was a sighting. I will point out one. There was a sighting of a creature on a ship called the Niagara, which was on course from Lisbon to New York in 1813. And it logged the sighting of a marine animal afloat on the sea, and it claimed to be 200 feet in length. And there's like a little, there's a little picture on the wiki that's kind of fun. It's like it shows a ship on the water that's 90 feet and a whale beneath the water that's 75 feet, and then this 200-foot long, like oblong shape that kind of looks like an octopus on its side or something, and like birds were claimed to have been perched along its back and stuff, and just like sitting there in the middle of the ocean.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just sent you a photo of the difference of a colossal squid, a giant squid, and an octopus for whatever reason.
Holy shit. Look at that extra long tentacles. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's wild. Super cool.
Yeah. Do not Google this. Do not Google image anything, either giant squid or colossal squid, unless you've got a strong stomach, because it is really hard to get these creatures intact to the surface.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of these images are pre-decayed or are currently decaying. Like, it's a lot of dead creatures because they're very, very difficult to get.
It's not fresh imagery.
No, and whatever is fresh imagery is mostly artist renderings. Like, I haven't seen a single. Well, there's one or two real images of a giant squid or a colossal squid, but they cannot survive that close to the surface. Like, they actually like pop. There's a colossal squid documentary on Netflix that I watched a long time ago that I really enjoyed.
Cool.
For the listeners who don't know, I really like sea things. Blue Planet is one of my favorite things on Earth, and I just find it so horrifying and relaxing.
So cool. Yeah.
I love
it. Yeah, it's somewhere between horrifying and relaxing. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Especially when Attenborough's narrating it.
Yeah, all right. Well, speaking of the dark depths. Oh god, it's foaming everywhere. Speaking of dark, deep sea foam, all on my lap.
Rising to the surface. Bubbling to the surface.
Yeah, that brings us to my messiest segue in a very literal sense.
It's okay. I feel like it's about to get dark real quick here once we start talking about their lairs.
Oh boy, here we go. Let's see what we think of the Kraken's lair and its actions and all of its beauty.
I can't wait. I love this stuff.
Quaff a delicious blackmail stout by Strange Fellows. Thank you. I sent
you another photo comparing squids to people.
Oh man. Oh, it's so gnarly. Oh,
the Humboldt squid is the one we eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It suffers from two different types of gigantism.
Amazing.
Yeah. Abyssal,
bastard.
I think, and deep sea gigantism.
So cool.
Wait, like, it's just ridiculous. Like, it shouldn't exist.
So as you can imagine, the Kraken's lair exists in dark depths, like sunken rifts or caverns filled with treasure and destroyed ships. And as usual, all regional effects to this lair will fade when the Kraken dies. But whilst it is there, it can alter weather as if using the control weather spell within a 6-mile radius. We've seen something akin to this with the Kieran as well.
Right. What is 6 miles in real people measurements?
Oh God, it's the one time I didn't write it down.
Okay. It's about 9.5 kilometers.
Okay, there you go.
That's really far.
You can imagine, like I said earlier, but the cultists who it's pleased with, it can calm the waters for them on their travels if it's pleased enough,
Right.
So yeah,
And
good amount of distance it can do that for.
And the deepest part of the ocean is only 10K.
Crazy.
Yeah, so like if this thing was at the
crazy to think
bottom
about.
of Mariana's Trench, it could still probably control the weather on the surface.
That's wild. Yeah, that is nuts. Also within this the region, we've got water elementals that will coalesce within the 6 miles of the lair as well. They cannot leave the water, however, and have intelligence and charisma scores of 1 at a -5. So they are sort of these mindless summoned water elementals. And aquatic creatures within that same area that have an intelligence score of 2 or lower are automatically charmed and aggressive to intruders.
Okay.
Moving from there, we have lair actions. As usual, they act on initiative count 20, losing ties. And the options are strong currents hit each creature within 60 feet of the Kraken, DC 23 strength save, or be pushed 60 feet away from the Kraken. On a success, the creature is still pushed 10 feet away. So you're not staying in you're not staying in your spot. Another option is that creatures in the water have vulnerability to lightning until the initiative count 20 on the next round. And you can also have water in the lair become electrically charged. All creatures within 120 feet of the Kraken take 3d6 lightning damage or half on a DC 23 con save.
That's such a big con save for such little damage.
Yeah, you're not wrong. However, it's 120 feet all around the creature. Like,
that's fair.
Ideally, this creature is fighting many more than just your PC party, right? So it's probably fucking up lots of things. But let's get to the stat block proper. This is one of the higher CRs, as you would guess, at 23.
That is higher than I would have guessed by a lot.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, this is a big boy. This is
considering
this
they're
is
literal demigods, angels, and as far as I know, the Leviathan is a more badass version of the Kraken. I did not expect this to break 20, so that's crazy.
Well, we shall see when we cover Leviathan, that's for sure. So the HP they give you is 472, but the rolling one that I know you like to just cap out on is 27d20 plus 189.
Jesus.
It's a lot. It does have a land speed at 20 feet, but of course its swim speed is higher at 60 feet. Its AC is 18 with natural armor. Size-wise, it is gargantuan, parentheses Titan, which I did mention earlier. Mm-hmm. And its creature type is a monstrosity, chaotic evil alignment.
Okay.
I mentioned earlier that previous editions had it able to speak. In 5e, it is not the case. It does, however, understand abyssal, celestial, infernal, and primordial. and does have telepathy up to 120 feet, but it does not speak directly.
Okay, so you can talk to it, but it won't talk back.
Perhaps, yes.
In your mind.
In your brain space. It has no resistances, but it is immune to lightning or bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing non-magical.
Wait, sorry, I just need to go back. I just realized this is like if you went scuba diving and you tried to talk to a squid, this is exactly the same result as you would actually get from talking to a squid. You just think about it real hard in your brain and assume it understands what you're talking about. That's crazy.
Right?
Wizards, you've done it. You've accurately reflected real life in a single way.
Imagine that. It is also immune to the conditions of frightened and paralyzed.
Okay.
And it has true sight, 120 feet, which I love that. Which effectively makes it immune to blinded, I think. So, but it's not listed.
Yeah, true sight's pretty crazy.
It's got bonkers bonuses to its saving throws. Its strength is at 30 with a plus 10. Its con is 25 with a plus 7. Everything's like, plus 4, 5, 6. Dex is the only one that's low. It's 11 plus 0, which is understandable. It's not really mobile, as it were.
And in 5e specifically, it doesn't look like it really could be.
Right, yeah. Its abilities, it's obviously amphibious, so breathes water and air. It has the ability freedom of movement, which means it ignores difficult terrain and magical effects cannot reduce its speed or cause it to be restrained. It can spend 5 feet of movement to escape non-magical restraints or grapple effects, however. And it is a siege monster, which makes sense. Double damage to structures and objects.
It kind of bugs me that this gargantuan creature only has a swim speed of 60 feet. Like, it's already 20 by 20.
Yeah. This came up when we covered the Tarrasque too. So
this comes up all the time.
All the time.
I'll never get past it.
The fact that it's so massive. I mean, there's something to be said about it gaining momentum and then like maybe having a faster speed as it does, but it's got to be a slow build up for any amount of movement, no matter what. And I think the idea is that the low speed is means that they're not really necessarily just facing one direction, heading that way all the time. They're moving and stopping, moving and stopping, moving and stopping. So
right, because there is no facing in 5e.
Yeah. I'm with you though. I kind of get it. You'd think like one giant step of the Tarrasque could probably just be 60 feet. So is it only ever taking one step at a time?
Which I guess actually probably is pretty accurate for a 6-second interval. Like a hulking beast like that, it would take a long time to
take a long
move.
time. Yeah.
But this is a creature suspended in a liquid with a propulsion device tacked on its ass. Like, squid are fast, brah.
But you know what? That's probably what it's missing right there is the fact that there is no ability for propulsion in that sense, like a squid or maybe even an octopus would have. So they're missing that. Maybe it should be there.
Yeah. Okay. I see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Getting into attacks, it's going to get a little crazy here. It has multi-attack.
Okay.
It can do 3 tentacle attacks, each of which can be replaced with a fling attack. So we'll cover those first. Tentacle is a plus 18 to hit with a reach of 30 feet. It does 3d6 plus 10 bludgeoning plus automatically grappled with an escape DC of 18. And until grapple ends, the target is restrained. Kraken has 10 tentacles, each of which can grapple a different target. So if you happen to have already attacked and grappled, you can now use Fling, which means one large or smaller object or creature that is grappled can be thrown up to 60 feet in a random direction. So I love that because it's just immediate imagery of it's just flailing, just flailing you wherever it can. The thrown target strikes a solid surface. If it does, it takes 1d6 per 10 feet thrown, so up to 66.
Okay.
And lands prone. If thrown at another creature, a DC 18 dex save or take the same damage and be knocked prone. So you could have two characters taking 66 and being knocked on their asses in one go.
Interesting.
And then Bite. Also has a plus 18 hit. It's a 3d8 plus 10 piercing. So if a target large or small is grappled, it is also swallowed and the grappled ends. So it can't do this in its multi-attack, but it can take this action instead. I guess I imagine like it's just taking more of its time to make this occur. The usual swallowed things. You're blinded and restrained. Total cover against outside effects, and you take 12d6 acid at the start of the Kraken's turn. 50 or more damage in a single turn from the inside of the Kraken, and it must succeed a DC 25 con save or regurgitate all swallowed contents, landing within 10 feet of the creature. It's probably important to note that it has a plus 15 to this con save, so it only needs to roll a 10 to not have to do that.
Right.
Upon death, the Kraken will, of course, regurgitate all of these. Oh no, sorry, it doesn't regurgitate, but all the creatures are no longer restrained and can spend 15 feet of movement to escape, exiting prone. And finally, it has one more action called Lightning Storm. It magically creates 3 bolts of lightning. Each can strike a different or the same target within 120 feet. They deal 4d10 lightning with a DC 23 dex save for half.
That's all right.
Yeah, and I would like to point out one of the lair actions in retrospect that they can spend on initiative count 20 to make everybody vulnerable to lightning in the water.
Yeah, I was wondering why that was there. So this is good.
Yeah. So it's 4d10 lightning, DC reflex for half, but if regardless, it's 50% more damage when you have weakness or vulnerability.
Yeah. So did I miss something in the lore that explained why the Kraken is electrical?
Nope. There was nothing there at all.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to double check with you.
Yeah.
I tend to get lost in the art for a little while. So
yep, that's fine. Yep, nope, nothing there for it at all.
Okay, so we have determined that the 5e art is factually wrong.
Yes, it makes no sense at all.
No, this is a much smaller. But it should just be a different creature. Yeah, the shark should be much larger. I would love to tell you that they're far away, but based on the positioning of that fin the tail and its tentacles, it is not far away. It is actually in front of the Kraken. So the 5e art is just, the scale is wildly off for a gargantuan beast, and for only requiring 15 feet of movement to escape exiting prone. Like, it's just...
Yeah. This is the sort of thing we've seen before, and you don't just see it in 5e. But,
no, you see it all over the place.
It's like just early, here, make me art. We'll apply it. We'll choose our favorite one. But then everything else is being. There's not a lot of. Sometimes certain creatures don't get a lot of coordination on the art and the story being written.
Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah. No shade on wizards. It just after investigating that art like I do, and hearing that it was a CR23, I expected a larger creature, and I know that they're kind of at the mercy of their sizing. So I think gargantuan is about as big as it gets. Is colossal bigger?
I think gargantuan is the biggest in 5e. I'm pretty sure. I don't think colossal exists in 5e.
Colossal doesn't exist.
Oh no, colossal exists in parentheses. I think so. It's like gargantuan parentheses colossal. I think that's how it exists in 5e.
Yeah. So gargantuan creature is 20 by 20. Huge is 15. Large is 10. Okay.
And then, but colossal assumes that it's like, there is no limit beyond gargantuan essentially.
Colossal is theater of mind, I think, is how that's supposed to go. Yeah.
Basically,
okay. Yeah. Okay. So they're limited by that. It's just I was excited for this creature to be massive, and I should say that I'm still very excited by this creature. Everything you've told is super awesome. I thought it was going to be more at a at a CR23. Mm-hmm. I guess it doesn't help that we haven't really played anything over 15th level. But
Right. Yeah. Like just high level creatures like this just barely exist, and when they do, it's hard to imagine them without like an actual siege happening with all these other moving parts, and like it's so rare to have someone TM that scenario, and do it well. That's just something that's really tough to do. I don't think I would be able to do it myself without making it a little bit boring or knowing how to balance it.
Yeah, there are a lot of if that's something you're interested in getting into, listeners, and I'm okay plugging this here. Strongholds and Followers or Kingdoms and Warfare will help you out with stuff like that. They're both excellent books for that stuff. And Matthew also just recently released a video called "We Played D&D at 20th Level for 2 hours." So also very valuable. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm sure it's filled with fantastic amounts of information.
Yeah, sweet.
But to bring it back to the Kraken, CR23, these I'm assuming they've got legendary actions. They've got lair actions.
Do.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, they do indeed. They're surface level, very dangerous still. They're not doing a huge amount of damage, but they're hitting all kinds of things and doing all kinds of weird things, and they're swallowing the hell out of you and throwing you around, and just electrifying the water. But in addition, legendary actions. These bastards.
Sorry, I want to make it clear that I don't believe this stat block is written with the intention that you're fighting this creature underwater. I'm sure it does electrify the water, and it has the ability to. But this to me is written as a creature just strolling through your village, trying to get to that freshwater lake to spawn. That's why it's a siege creature.
Yeah, you think so, eh?
I do. I mean, I guess structures and objects would also consist of boats, but I would imagine, fling thrown in a random direction. I mean, I guess you can technically throw underwater, but it's, I don't know.
So here's the difference. I don't picture attacking a single boat. I picture this in the water, but it is multiple boats. And you could for sure fling one creature from the water to a boat, or from one boat to another, or what have you. Really, depending on how you describe the scenario. I'm with you. Okay. Attacking a coastal town for sure. I think this step block would definitely work. And this thing is like barely on the coast or on the edge of the water or whatever.
Yeah, I also don't want to say attacking, honestly. I get where you're coming from, but to be a little pedantic, I don't think this creature would pay humans any mind. I think it would just Godzilla stroll through your town and not really give a shit. It just happened to be in its way. It's like us walking through an anthill.
Well, that's why I feel like that whole flailing thing I said earlier fits really well. It's and if you play up with that's that part of its lore where it's sort of bent on ruination. It's there to go Godzilla its way through something, destroy the town and all these stuff, and then move on. And but it's probably also happy to just throw shit around as it sees fit. So a lot of those skills like that fling ability, that fling attack. It doesn't just say creatures; it's objects, objects or creatures, large and smaller. Right. And so it's just like grabbing random shit and tossing it. So it just tosses it, and it always says random direction. So you're probably rolling as a GM to see which direction it goes in. But if your character happened to be in that direction, you're going to take that 1d6 per 10 feet of damage. And it should be mad chaos. And
I kind of want to write the game where a Kraken is just like flopping its way through a town, and a horse just gets thrown at the PCs for no reason at all. The whole that's the inciting incident. But the campaign is based around them like 7 samurai trying to shore up the defense of this town as the Kraken's making its way back, and the Kraken's not doing anything wrong. It's just going to its spawning ground, like.
Right, yeah. just following its instincts, stealing shit.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, I think. 'Cause this is a creature that, like, maybe it's not your ultimate enemy. It is one of those unachievable events happening. Like, it's just utter chaos, and you have to minimize the damage as much as possible.
Yeah,
you're not there
to force
defeat
of nature.
Yeah, what do they say in the insurance company? An act of God.
An act of God, yeah.
It just shows up, and all of a sudden everything's hell.
And this would have been a literal act of God because they were created by the gods,
right?
as destruction machines. So these could
be a good way to like really play into like a sort of like ocean-based like cultists and stuff like that. Like they have a vendetta against maybe the town, or they have a goal, or whatever, and they manage to somehow influence this Kraken to like move along the river, not even tell it to attack, but move along the river,
Right.
and give it a reason to like rest in that lake, and they just happen to know that it will cause destruction as it goes.
Aquaman meets Pacific Rim. I'm here for it.
There you go.
Okay, I'm done interrupting you now. Let's get to these legendary actions. 'Cause
Legendary actions.
I feel like we're already in homebrew.
We really are. Can't even stick to our own format. Legendary actions. So it's the usual. They have 3 actions, and they all replenish at the start of the Kraken's turn, and each action can only be used after another creature finishes their turn. They can do a tentacle attack or fling, which costs them 1 action. So remember, that's also combined with the multi-attack they can use for either of those. So we're tossing in more. Now we're seeing like those 10 tentacles being put to use more often. So they can do that 3 times per round if they want. Or they can spend 2 actions of these legendary to do the lightning storm, hitting everybody in that 120-foot area.
Okay.
Or they can spend 3 actions to do an ink cloud. And this expels an ink cloud in a 60-foot radius. You got to remember, too, is 60-foot radius doesn't seem big, but when you're going from the edges of a 20 by 20 creature, is that what you said?
Yeah, 20 by 20.
Yeah, so it's like, it's going from the 60 feet from the edges of that creature, not from the center of it, right?
120 feet, because it's a 60-foot radius, which is a half circle.
Right. So it's spreading out a lot. It's a big space. And this seeps around corners, of course, and the area is heavily obscured to everyone but the Kraken. It's got true sight. And every creature but the Kraken takes 3d10 poison damage, or half on a DC 23 con save. And a strong current can disperse the ink. Otherwise, it fades at the end of the Kraken's next turn.
So I'm picturing my campaign where this Kraken is just flopping through the town. You go up and you poke it, it explodes lightning. Then you go up and poke it again, and it expects to expel this like ink mist that it can hide in and disappear in. And instead, it just rains black poison on the townsfolk for 120 feet.
Oh my God. Better be a high population town, because there's not going to be anything left.
No, just like the end of a fishing village. Like maybe that's the inciting incident. You have to discover how an entire fishing village was wiped off the map, and it's just like covered in like this poisonous black tacky tar, and thunder damage. Like trees have been electrocuted and shit, and
just
corpses
so much
splattered.
happening. Yeah. Yep, I hear you. I'm with you. I love
don't
the
hate
idea.
that. I think that'd be a
of this
really cool
thing
investigation.
popping out of the river. Yeah.
Level 1, you have to investigate a Kraken crime scene.
I feel like it's easy to see why I chose this creature after my last one being the Deep Scion. This is to me an obvious example, if not lore-wise, of something you can use as that deep sea creature that creates a Deep Scion and that dark, brutal ritual. And it can plan if it wants to, and it can have cultists follow it, and it can have grand designs on the land-dwelling creatures and what have you, if it so chose.
Yeah, this thing is twice as smart as most human beings.
Right? Yeah. What? 22 intelligence?
Yeah, because a commoner is 10. So with the 22 intelligence, they're twice as smart as a commoner. So like these things could easily plan. I don't know what they would want to plan, what a Kraken could possibly want, but if all they want is destruction and chaos, they could easily make that happen. That's a wildly intelligent for this creature. You don't often make soldiers with an intelligence higher than most human beings. Like, look at the Uruk-hai.
Right.
They're just mindless drones.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. The lore doesn't really offer much in the way of motivation other than destruction, but it does seem to counter the idea of just destruction for the sake of it, with the bit there that's like, they'll reach towards the idea of destroying those who created them, but they don't have the reach, so they settle for what's nearby. I guess you could push an idea of maybe they think they'll draw the attention of one of their original creators by creating wanton destruction across the world and the land, and thereby reach a goal they finally have. And maybe multiple Krakens have, sort of gotten together towards this goal.
Listeners, if you take anything away from this, it's a Kraken coven.
Yes, and they're all served by sea hags.
Yeah, I like it. And I mean, I guess depending on your creationist values in your world, because I guess I'm just now realizing that the Forgotten Realms is definitively creationist because of the definite existence of deities, as we've covered on multiple occasions.
Yeah, even deep down in the lore, there's like the one god who started it all, right?
Yeah.
So it's like extremely creationist in that sense.
So maybe they take a demon approach and they enact vengeance upon their creators by destroying their favorite creation, which, is people.
Right. Yeah. Yep. It would probably make sense to try and explore if the information is there, and if not, create, which gods created the Kraken, because they were warriors of the gods or some gods in a war amongst gods. So which ones were responsible, and which ones do they draw the ire of, or have their ire, I should say? And do they perhaps consider the fact that the gods that did not create them, that they had once fought against, perhaps they could appease them in some way and gain their favor to get their revenge?
Interesting.
Yes, it's all very vague, but that's something to play with, right?
Yeah, I mean, at 20th level, which is essentially what you'd want to be fighting this at, unless you are laying a literal siege with like larger armies and factions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You would want to have that stuff established, because next stop is gods. Like,
yeah,
there's not a whole lot else to do in a campaign after you destroy a Kraken, other than, I don't know, go punch God in the mouth.
I don't remember what book it is, but our buddy Greyhood, who did our artwork, he's playing in a game, or has been for a while, where they use a supplement that goes from 20 to 30, and I think when you hit 30, you achieve godhood or something like that. So it adds these like crazy things. So you could always play with that as well. Get farther and farther into it.
Yeah, I'm sure you could find that on RPG Gateway or Dungeon Masters Guilds. Like, that's got to be a 2 or 3 supplement. But yeah. I have no ambition to play up to 30th level, but if you do, then that's that. You guys have fun.
I think he's doing it in a quasi West Marches campaign though, so it's
okay,
like casual build up to that kind of thing. So long term, but no huge commitment. Play when you can.
Right.
Reach a level if you do.
Yeah. That'd be nice. I think maybe we should start exploring a West Marches style thing for our group. After Frostmaiden, of course. But but what about you, listeners? Have you ever considered the cult of the Kraken? Have you ever thought about just taking the cult of the Dragon Queen and just reskinning it instead of Tiamat? It is your good buddy, Tiamat the Kraken. If so, we absolutely want to hear about it. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at EncounterPod, or Instagram.com/EncounterPod, where Freeman will be throwing up this art for your viewing pleasure, specifically that 5e art. So as soon as you listen to this, you can take a look and identify that the Kraken is well out of proportion in those images. No shade. Beautiful image. But we're wrong. And he mentioned the Deep Scion episode that he has covered very, very recently, and you can find that very easily on our website, encounterthis.ca, where we have the complete archive of all of our episodes, ad-free and readily available for your viewing pleasure, as per the OGL. If you really like this and you want to see a little bit behind the scenes, specifically the show notes on how we make these episodes, if you really like these and you want to see a little bit behind the scenes, specifically the show notes, documents that we use to produce these episodes, you can find us on patreon.com/EncounterPod. $5 a month will get you a handwritten thank you letter, access to our show notes, and that is a handwritten letter mailed to your physical address that you can frame, burn, do whatever you do with paper in your region, hopefully recycle at the very least. And for $10 a month, you can suggest a creature. Maybe you want us to cover another Titan, your favorite Titan. Maybe it's a dragon or an aboleth, or maybe you want us to go down that Leviathan route and you want Freeman specifically to get all biblical on that shit, because that is definitely his area of expertise as opposed to mine. You can do that for $10 a month, and that creature is not limited to the Dungeons & Dragons 5e system. You can choose any system you like, any creature you like, and we will do our best to poorly learn the system and present that creature in the D&D or Pathfinder parlance that is familiar to us. If you want to help us out with doing absolutely nothing and offering us absolutely no money, in the application that you are using to listen to this very episode, you can rate and review, which absolutely does help us with placement on those respective stores. The more you review, the higher you review, the more likely new listeners are to find us, and that is the most important thing for us to keep making this show, is new ears to the table. Because all we really want is to learn stuff and help inspire you to run I don't want to say better, but I also don't want to say more educated, a differenter game than you are currently running.
That's definitely English, listeners.
Yeah. Taken directly from the Homestar Runner Dictionary. Thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you again very shortly for our... Nope, not going to spoil it.
And now it's kind of spoiled.
But you will hear us again in quantity very, very soon.
Very soon, yeah. This is where I usually try to find a cheeky thing to say, but I don't have something. But what I will say is that when I was in high school, I knew a fella named Chris McCracken. And,
that's fun.
And he had an uncle named Phil.
I don't get what the last part has to do with anything. But,
Phil McCracken?
Nope.
Okay, it's not for you. It's for the listeners.
Okay. I hope you listeners enjoyed whatever the hell that was. And Freeman and I are going to sign off now, and we will get Kraken on the next episode.
Oh, fuck.